just going to start the recording. All right, Dave's going to run us through, mate. Over to you, buddy. You got to take yourself off mute first so we can hear you.
Here we go. Off mute.
Oh, there we go. All right, all yours, mate.
Can you hear me now, brother?
Yes, we got you. We got you.
So, now I can't see everyone. Here we go. Now I got you all. Give me a thumbs up. You can hear me loud and clear. Thumbs up. Awesome stuff. Now I'm just going to switch my video so we can have a little bit of a better view here, and then we'll be able to get things out of the way. Have you guys just got started with all this, or is this part of a more of an extended webinar kind of thing you're working on today?
No, we're all for you, mate. We're just all waiting for you.
Awesome.
All eyes on. That's it.
Mate, I just updated my computer and I've got the wrong camera. This is the camera over here. Here we go. I've got to figure out here. I'm guessing there would be some tech guys in here which will probably be able to solve this better than me. This is definitely not the way I like to start things off. All right, anyway, you guys, I'm gonna have to look over here and talk to you. I've got a really fancy camera, but it's obviously too fancy for me to even figure out how to use it. Here we go, I've got it now. Alrighty, guys, that's a little bit better here. Now, I'm pumped to chat to you all today. I'm part of this this little presentation here for today. Now, you guys do it monthly, so from what I know. Now, having a quick chat to Ethan. He told me a little bit about how you guys work and how you guys function, where the whole model you guys have, I think is great that you guys are a part of a team, and you know, Ethan and that can match you with people in your area in regards to PT. I think it's very smart. It's very cool how you guys work. So Ethan and the team and you guys, hats off for what you guys do. Hey, we've even got Lana. She's driving while she's listening to this. So hey, Lana, how you doing? Make sure you keep the eyes on the road.
I'm in the sauna. I'm not driving. This is so awkward.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. I appreciate you jumping on. It's we've also got Shannon. Sharon's driving too. So guys, we're all in different things. I'm going to go through this quite a lot. I'm going to start off by giving a quick little background of myself. You know, a lot of us are meeting for the first time, but I think we have a lot more things that we're similar with than not. So give you a backstory to myself. Back when I was 17, I was getting kicked out of high school, and I had a mentor introduce me to some of the first kettlebells in Australia. Those things back there, the kettlebells. And for me, it was quite a life-changing experience to have someone take me under the wing, educate me. And it was at a time when I was young enough where I needed that mentor kind of role. Now, to give you like the deeper story, at that time, my dad also had his second mental breakdown, and things weren't going too well at home. And so things were quite heavy. A lot of pressure, HSC. I ended up failing my English exam. So for me, that mentorship role really changed my world and introduced me to kettlebells. And if you don't know too much about the story, that introduction to kettlebells ended up down the track of me winning 3 world titles with kettlebells, right? And got me into the industry that I love, you know, and you know, look back now, it's easy to connect the dots and how things work. But at the time, I was just doing the best with what I had. And, you know, when we first started in that little backyard shed, we had 5 kettlebells, right? And no one knew what they were. They thought they were bloody crazy lifting these balls with handles on them. They call them cowbells and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, what for me at that point, it gave me a chance to develop myself. And especially when, you know, I wasn't growing, I felt like I was very restricted. You know, I lived in a small country town, dealing with a lot of mental health issues, a lot of pressure at home, school and that. Training for me was freedom, you know, and I got to experience it firsthand, the transformative effects of it, where I could go in and each day feel like I could making progress, you know, and worse something. It was like a way for me to, you know, find my own feet in the world, you could say at that point. And the first person that actually got me into training others, first person that I ever trained was actually my sister, and I trained with her. Now, up until that point, my sister was quite shy. She got bullied a lot, got shit put on her a lot at school about being overweight and all that. And being the little brother and seeing my sisters, I got 2 sisters go through this, it hurt me personally seeing this go on. And being the little brother, you kind of you feel like you're hopeless going through high school and that, and seeing this stuff go on. But you know, as we got to that point, 17, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking do something about this. And my way to help do something was to make my sister feel comfortable with training with me. And we would train, and that's how we bonded. And I developed a relationship with my sister that was like never before. Like our whole upbringing, we bonded more in these training sessions than we had up until that moment. And you know, I'm quite excited to say my sister just had a second baby. She's married now, and we still look back on that time as such fond memories. So training and that kind of how do you say, experience is what got me into this industry. You know, I grew up idolizing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Lee and stuff as a kid. But you know, when I go to the local gym for school sport, I never saw anyone who was like charismatic or friendly. It was like people just grunting. Now, I don't want to stereotype the gym kind of atmosphere, but at the time it was this marathon running or bodybuilding. And, you know, I was like, fuck that. Like, you know, I want to have fun, you know? So 14 years ago in that little shed is kind of like the birth of this functional kind of movement stuff. It was the first ever kettlebell gym. And I'm pretty proud to say we actually grew that gym to one of the most members per capita in Australia. Like that little tiny gym. It went from a little gym, no electricity, 5 kettlebells, 3 bits of carpet. And then it went to a studio, had a little studio. Now, by the way, I had 3 jobs at this point, and I'm not sure if any of you guys are working other jobs as well to make it happen in your careers right now, but it's part of the process. You got to do what you got to do. And I really respect people to go out there and do what it takes. And then the next thing is we grew it to a bigger studio. I ended up doubling that little studio. And then there was at a point where, you know, funny enough, every time my dad had a mental breakdown, I went bigger in life. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm sure everyone here has had their own personal tests where fucking the wheels are falling off and you're like, fuck, what do I do? You know, where, you know, like you're looking at your members, you're looking at your invoices or your bills and shit like that. You're like, fuck, how do I put this together? I love what I do, but I just need to get better at it or find more people and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think being in the industry, we've all had those moments. And if you're not, tell me your fucking secrets, right? It's, or maybe you're just getting started. But we all have these experiences, and especially when, as you get older, we take on responsibility in a relationship, we, you know, get our own house and job and car and get loaded up with all this sort of stuff. We're all going to feel the burn at one point, the pressure. Now, give me a little thumbs up or a peace sign if you felt the burn before. Put that up so I know we're, all right, we've all felt it, right? You're all human. Now, I want to remind you guys, we're humans doing business or, you know, helping people, not business doing human. You know, a lot of people just try and treat themselves like fucking robots. And, you know, I do this talk from kids. I got bullying books and stuff like that. And we'll go down to where this stuff has evolved into. And I'll show you guys to expand your mind on what's possible with what you're doing. But, you know, we all, how do you say, we all have, okay, where I was going at is a lot of times the society makes us just be machines and stuff. So today, when I talked about building what you do into a career, like that was our title of this, is I want to connect more with you emotionally and give you some really cool, empowering tools. To understand that we're all growing, we're all learning. The moment we think that we're not growing and learning is the moment we're fucking probably going to become stale in the industry. And I'm not sure about you guys, you've probably seen people that are stale, you know, in the fitness industry, like they're frustrated, they're bitter, they actually hate fucking people. No, they're in the people game, but then they go fucking hate them. I can't deal with their shit anymore. That client, if I hear one more time about them fucking eating chocolate on Nutella and I'm trying to help them around or whatever, you know, like if I'm going to put off this shit one more time, they don't listen to me, I'm going to fire their ass or whatever. So anyway, I'm digressing. But first thing is I'm sort of sharing my story a little bit to understand that we're, you know, this is a journey. Every single frustration you guys are going to experience is going to teach you something. That's part of it. There's the pain you feel. There's power once you learn the lesson. And especially, who here is under the age of 25? Heads up. Okay, so just over 50% of what I can see on the screen. I'm going to go to the next thing. All right, cool. And now, who's over the age of 25? Heads up. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So there's definite things. So under 25, we're really finding where we fit, how we connect with our clients and all that is massive. Now, I'm going to talk to the under 25s. Now, over 25s right now, listen in because you guys would resonate with this as you're going into the industry. A lot of time when we're under 25, we're we're young, people will tell us, oh, you're young and all this kind of stuff. You get to play the young card and stuff. But I want to let you know is when you're younger and that, and if you don't know a lot of, if you're not the most experienced, who's ever put their hands up and thought that they're not the most experienced trainer? Everyone, age, regardless of age, right? We're all there. Now, in regards to what we do, if we get caught up and focusing on what we don't know, which then makes us feel insufficient, does that mean that we can go out there and shine with our everyday clients? Yes or no? This is a no, this is a yes. If we're getting caught up on what we don't know, are we shining? No fucking way, man. Like, we're too busy on what we don't know. And then therefore we're showing up basically, like, in a way, already pulling on the handbrakes to us to showing up and giving our best to our clients. Because I want both groups, under 25 and over 25, to understand that the way we show up to our client is kind of like the foundation to make them feel safe, heard, seen, listened. And in that session, because who here has realized sometimes their sessions go more into the unpaid psychologist role than an actual trainer? Thumbs up if you're with me on there. You've seen that, right? Because let me tell you this, in our society, we really don't have, we have awareness around a lot of things, but we don't really have tools on how to actually unlock the blocks we have internally. Now, I've got some homework for all of you guys to do, which is going to be a really cool thing to unblock your own self. And Ethan, I'm going to do it with you when you come to Sydney and show you this self as well. So you have homework too. But I'm going to show you some really empowering things that at any point in my career, when no matter what success you think I've had and all this kind of stuff, a lot of the things that I've done in my career, from whether it's starting the first gym to selling out of the first 24-hour hybrid model, to creating kids books, to creating the first 30-day challenge in Australia, to traveling the world, delivering speaking, third world titles, all this kind of stuff, to be honest, I was just creating out of space of not enough. Got to do more, got to hit more, like got to do that. And, I'm not sure about you guys. Has anyone here ever fucking actually figured out they're not getting results they want? So then they go and buy a million fucking self-help books. Who's ever thought that? Thumb up if you've been there. And you've got a pile of all these self-help books. You're like, oh, I need the 4-hour work week. I need this. And so that's more about doing. Now, we all go in that doing phase, where we're like more, productivity, like all this kind of stuff. If only we had, but it's also just reinforcing what you don't have. And a lot of times, a lot of us right now, and this is where I work, from fitness all the way to nutrition to different industries. Like I've got Nike coming up, Nike HQ, where I'm working with them on a personal level, not just their business, working with getting their top performing team function together as a human, so then they can show up better in their job. Because when you look at like a high performing athlete, do they have the skills? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do they have the skills? They've got the skills. Now, what separates the top performers? Is it their mindset or skills? Mindset or skills? It's their mindset, how to unlock that in the moment. Now, who here on this Zoom knows that they've got some skill? There's always more to learn. They're open to that, but they realize on the daily basis, they're constantly caught up in being their own negative sort of handbrake. Who's there? This is, if you're feeling what I'm talking about, who's ever knows that they are their own handbrake? All right, now some people doing head movement when I said thumbs, right? So put the fucking thumb up, right? A lot of time we've got to own it. A lot of times we fear vulnerability. We fear not knowing the answer. And so we stay fucking comfortable. And I'll give you a little bit of there's a crazy science finding where people who have studied 40 years of their degree, once science changes and shows that what they've studied is actually old news and they've had a new breakthrough, they don't actually change and teach a new breakthrough. Does anyone know why? I'm going to ask Nicholas. You're in front of me. Nicholas, one guard. Yeah. Unmute yourself. Do you know why people don't change once a new breakthrough's happen?
Because once you've learned it, you don't want to restart it again.
Exactly, because you're too comfortable in your own thoughts, right? And that there, no matter what that person's learned, if it's the wrong fucking thing, if it's wrong, it's wrong. Does that make sense, everyone? Give me a thumbs up. Now, a lot of us, thanks for that, Nicholas. A lot of us, we cling to old ways and all that kind of stuff. So For you guys, can I teach you something that's not even about how you train people, but it's really about how you show up in the world? Are you guys open to me teaching you this? Give me a thumbs up. All right, now, when we go through this, you're going to be able to introspectively, means look inside yourself and actually find what's holding you back the most. Because I believe everyone on here, you wouldn't be working with Ethan and the team if they didn't believe in what capabilities you have. Now, for you guys, does everyone here realize that if you show up, fuck it, who's ever shown up? I'm gonna say, I want someone to put their hand up, and I'm gonna get you to speak. Who's ever shown up and you're on fucking fire with your clients? Who's ever had one of those days where everything they're talking to, you just feel like you're just on fire, you're bound to answer it, and you really leave that session feeling like, I fucking love my job? Who's ever had one of those days? Hands up. Hands up. All right, Michelle, Cooney, unmute yourself. I want to ask you about that. Michelle, you guys, the whole team in there, I love it. Michelle, can you unmute yourself?
All right. Yep, there you go.
Hey, Michelle, I saw that little figure go up. Tell me about that time. Oh, so who's Michelle?
I'm Michelle. I'm Meg.
Meg, you're part of Get Going too, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, Megs.
Yeah.
I saw the little finger go up. Megs, tell me about the time where you felt you were on fucking fire.
Probably mostly with my autistic clients, where things just go to plan. They listen, they do stuff, they have fun, and then the parents are left happy as well. So that's probably when I've noticed that I'm most on fire.
Yeah, because with an autistic kid, who's really the client you've also got to manage?
The parents, really, like
100%.
Yeah, and that can be sometimes the most difficult. Like, especially like
Yes.
they don't. It's almost like they don't want to let go and let their kids kind
Correct.
of go. So yeah.
Correct. So Michelle, thanks for sharing that.
Sorry.
Now, when you have that feeling,
Yeah.
you know, do you ever get bogged down in all things you don't know?
Not really, because I think in those sessions, like I find them the easiest because you find your inner kid. Like,
Yep.
I mean, there are some sessions where like either the kid has a meltdown and I'm just left standing there like, shit, what do I do? And that's when the parents come in. But when I'm able to, I guess, diffuse a meltdown, it makes you feel really good because I feel like that's like the ultimate level of connection with those clients.
Yes.
Especially
Because
when
you can hold space for that client. And that, would you say on the scale, you know, it can be a challenging client to hold space for.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us struggle to hold space. Now, the ability to hold space and really be present in that time and give your best really comes down to how you're showing up as well. Because imagine if you showed up already pre-stressed, pre-pressurized from whatever shit's going in your life, you walk into that room and they're having a meltdown, you're like, I'm gonna have a fucking bigger meltdown, right? So it's so for you guys, I could talk about tactics, I could talk about all the intricacies of training and all the different things, and at the end we'll do a Q&A. You can ask me anything you want. I'm an open book, right? So you know, so Michelle, you're muted now. She's getting the coffee. She's not finished. We're not finished yet. Now, Michelle, the day that things haven't worked for you, what would you say and be honest, and we're going to do this for the whole team, on your worst day, what do you think in your mind? What goes in up here?
That's a tough one. Like you think that you're not doing anything right. Like you just like, have I lost that connection with the client? Like, do they hate me? What am I doing wrong? And it is a hard thing because like obviously all of my like autistic clients are different, but yeah, you just feel shit. And then it stresses you out because then you're just like, if the parents are standing there, you're just like, oh my God, are they going to think I'm like, you know, horrible, or like because their kids had a meltdown? Because obviously that's, you know, you want to avoid that. So yeah, you don't leave feeling good.
Now, when that happens and you feel horrible shit, you know, you lost connection with that client, and then the parent is stressed out as well. And, you know, they're most likely, because they're living with the kid, they're stressed out nonstop potentially, unless they're really integrated the whole unawareness around this sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. But what's the then deeper thing? If you don't have connection with your clients, what does that mean for you as a business owner?
Well, I mean, you got the possibility of that client leaving, really, like
leaving, which means lost what?
Income.
What does lost income mean to you?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how much you're losing, I guess. Like if it's a little bit, it can make a little bit of a difference. It also means that, you know, when you lose a client, you've got to find another client to replace them. Yeah, it can mean heaps of things, I guess.
Now, on a little thing, we talked about that because you avoided the big thing, but on the big thing, if you can't connect with your fucking clients, do you have any clients?
Well, potentially, I mean, yeah, you feel like you don't, because you're just like, oh, if I can't connect with that client, I'm not going to connect with the next one. And then, yeah.
Who's ever here? This is to everyone, stay on the line. Who's ever here lost a client, it didn't work out for whatever reason, and then got into a bit of a fear-based mindset where you go, fuck, I got to lose every client? Or who's ever doubted themselves before? Give me a thumbs up. Right, and this is where it can spiral. Okay, this is where things spiral. It affects our self-worth, especially when we're putting our self-worth based on clients. Because a lot of us, when we first get success, is we go, oh, 40 clients a week, I'm fucking success, I'm making all the money, things like this. But we get attached to the success, but also too in life, sometimes there's ups and downs, there's flows, there's whatever fucking reasons life goes on. So we're also going to know, how do we stabilize when we ever have a setback in life to bounce back better? And also when you bounce back is you don't put your, how do you say, your hope, your energy and things like that in the external. It's all about you. Now, a lot of people try and externally get things like gratification. You know, if I have this client, I'm going to be happy, blah, blah, blah. That means that until they have that many clients, they're not going to be fucking happy. Now, guess how you get all those clients? Is you show up fucking happy, wanting to be there, being present, being able to connect with the people. Give me a thumbs up if this is making sense. Cool. All right. So thanks for sharing that. We're going to go through a little process right now. Now, when we go through this process, no one's going to have to share anything externally. Maybe like I might put your hand up if you might say you want to share it. We're going to show you this process about 3 of the major things that hold people back in life. Now, this is any profession. This is something that I'm going to go behind the scenes of what I do with companies. So Nike, for example, as a corporate company, all the way down to kids with these books, ages like 4, 5, up to 12. Now, this is even something I do with Ethan up there, the boss man in the corner. This is something that I would do then. So guys, held up the figures 3. I just want to make sure everyone's paying attention as we do this. Everyone do this. I've got a few people that are camera off, but that's okay. So we're going to go into this thing. Now, a lot of this stuff I'm about to talk about, people call deeper work on yourself. And they kind of gives a bit of a heavy kind of thing towards it. Now, when people are afraid to do this work, they suppress it. They hold it back. And what happens is they don't talk about it. They push it down. And if you think about it, what is the symptom of repressing emotion? A, depression, addictions, self-sabotage, showing up at a lesser self, all these types of things. So I'm going to help you get to the 3 main things that we need to unlock ourselves and actually process. And this is a tool you guys can do forever. Now, it's super simple. I'm going to give you a book to learn more on it. But, you know, when I had this chat with Ethan, is the greatest thing around connection and your career and all that, the greatest thing that's going to hold you back and the thing that's actually going to determine whether you burn out as a coach is your connection with yourself and actually being able to like unblock your own blocks. Because if you can't show up good for yourself in your own life, it's going to roll out into your personal life, in your professional life. Does that make sense? Everyone tries to go professional first, then personal. I was included. 3 world titles, world fucking seminars around Australia, challenge after challenge. I've done more seminars in Australia than anyone out of anyone I've met. All these big speakers you see on stage, I'm like, I beat these guys every fucking day. I was there, my shirt parading around Australia was how many, and on the back it said as many as it fucking takes, right? I kind of had this do more attitude. Now, who's ever seen a fly trying to escape a window? You ever seen a fly escape a window? It's just like, boom, 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 boom. But then you look at it and you go, dumb fly, there's a fucking door window open over there. Why don't you just fly through? Who's ever seen that? Thumbs up. Now, who's ever felt that they are the fucking fly trying to escape the window? Just go harder. Who's ever done that? Put your thumb up. Right? I call it the escaping fly theory. And it's basically doing the hard yards gets you so far. But what gets you so far won't get you to the next level. Now, when we're showing up for people, especially if you're working with autism clients, you really need to be centered yourself and be ready to like how do you say, be able to hold space for your client. Now, if you can hold space for your client, you've got 40 clients, you're holding space for a lot of fucking clients. What happens? Your cup then becomes full and you're like, I'm fucking sick of it. And then you go home to your loved ones or your partner and things like that. They want to chat to you. And you're like, don't fucking talk to me. Right? Because again, you're holding everything up. So you've got to allow things to go through you. Like they listen, but they come out. You know, you're not holding on because you've got to hear a lot of stories when you work with everyone. Everyone's got their own fucking story. You're training them and you really go, fuck, you need to release a lot of shit. And the training side of stuff is, if anything, is their relief to what they're holding on to. That's where we say like training is a good stress reliever and all this kind of stuff. Who's with me here? Thumbs up. So for yourself, I'm going to get Jaya. Did I say that right, bro? You're there in the middle. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, mate, here.
Mate, I appreciate your participation in here. What is another word for resistance in our body? What do they call it? Starts with S. It's thrown away everywhere in today's world.
Struggle.
Another one. Struggle's one. In work, when someone's working a lot, they say when they have challenges in their work, what do they say? I'm very
stressed.
Very stressed. Right? All stress is resistance in the body where there's a block. Right? People take things personally. They hold on to things. Who's ever taken something personally when it's not even them? Thumbs up. Right? So I used to be an electrician. Now, in electrician, a resistor, I'm going to try and draw it for you on my little iPad here. A resistor kind of like becomes in here. So you have energy in and energy out. This would be 240 volts here, and this would be 12 volts here. If I want to get that change reduction in volts, I build a resistor. Right? Now, our body is this as well. The ability to basically have energy flow. Now, who here has ever lacked energy, but they know they're eating well, they're training, they're sleeping, all that kind of stuff? Who's ever mentally been fucking drained? Right? And then we physically in our body. Right? Now, we all feel this. This is about being human. Now, a lot of people try and out productivity it, outwork it, fucking out holiday it if you got the money, whatever it is, they try and escape it, go on a new holiday all the time. But the moment they lean back down, they still got it. And so the whole point is, how do we get rid of this resistance within ourselves, our own body? Is everyone, give me a thumbs up if you understand this, what a resistor does. It reduces your energy. Now, if you don't have the, how do you say, with life, if you're experiencing an event, what typically happens is we put our own resistor in so we don't get hurt more. So does anyone remember their like day one energy? Who remembers their day fucking one energy when they got the first business card, first website listing or whatever? Who remembers that? And they were so fucking pumped. They're like, this is it. This is it. Give me a thumbs up if you remember that day one energy, your first client. All right, Megan, I want to see those thumbs up. You remember the first slide? If you got a client, there we go. So that first energy, that first day client, I want to Seaton Monday, I'm going to put you up. Unmute yourself.
Hit me.
All right. Your day one energy. Do you remember that feeling? What was it like?
It was unreal. Like you just go in, you show up, you do your work, and you're ready to go again.
And you're like, I can't believe I got fucking paid for this. I got paid for this. Right? What is fucking? You know, like it's
ridiculous.
Mate, it's awesome. Now, would you say, just be honest now, do you feel that day one energy every day?
No, not a chance.
How long has it been since you felt that day one energy?
Actually not that long. So it comes in waves.
Okay. Cool. When we have wins and all that. So I want to let you know, guys, the biggest thing that you can tap into is that day one energy, but right now, regardless of what's happening in your business. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up, right? Because we lose that day one energy. We lose that kid playfulness, like that opportunity, open mind, when we have external things not go our way. But it's really showing us where we're not really free because we're still basing our energy on externally. Does that make sense? Now, it sounds like kind of like, oh, how do we go in before we go out, whatever it is. We're in a world where everything's about collecting more. Is you've got to remind yourself of that day one energy. And if you want to grow 1 into 5 clients, like their family, their friends, you've got to do the right thing by 1. You got to understand that. Now, if I have, if you look at things, we have 1, This I call organic growth. One person. Who's ever had one person refer a few clients before? Thumbs up, fingers up. It's effortless, right? They do the selling for you. Now check this out. 1 turns into 5, turns into 25, 125. So if you guys knew that every single person, if you just put the work into that person and you had a good referral model and get going, get PT, as you do this stuff, that person would then tells their family, you don't have to fucking sell. And that's where people really win, is when other people are doing your sales. I used to do it in my town called Leeton. I actually had a Facebook page called I Live in Leeton. Now I've got 11,000 people in that Facebook page. There's only 6,000 people in my town. Now on that page, all I did, this is the first Facebook group used for community reasons in Australia, right? Now Facebook, they reeled out to me. They thought I did it through paid stuff, but it was all organic. Now that whole page, all I did is promote all the people in my town on that page, their business, who they are as a person, nothing about my business, about signing up for PT or nothing. Now, when I shine the light on everyone else, especially all the 300 business owners or something in our town, what do you think they're open to doing? Seaton, back to you. What do you think the people are open to doing?
Scratch my back, I scratch yours to help you out.
Correct. And business people understand that. Right. And I'm not trying to put on, push a sale or whatever it is. All I'm doing is just saying, hey, Sid, you're an absolute fucking legend, mate. You helped me with trading, whatever it is. You're a rock star. Keep changing the world. It's all guerrilla marketing, guys. It cost me $0 fucking dollars and it was a post. Right. Now I've still got that business page. The council used to contact me to communicate to the whole town. Right. Think about that for marketing power for $0. I ended up selling that group to the mayor's daughter, and I'm still the admin on it, so I still own it anyway. So anyway, that's tactics. But this is more about where we're going is with yourself. So back to those 3 things, the 3 biggest things that are holding you back for showing up in your life. Everybody get a pen and pencil ready. The pen and paper, whatever it is, or your phone, whatever you got it. 3 biggest things. First one, judgment. Write that down, judgment. The second one, so you write it like here, here, and here. It's a sliding scale. The next one, guilt. And then the third and finale is shame. Now, these might be weird terms for you at the moment. I'm going to describe and have you understand them. Because when I to be honest, I wrote all these kids' books. I actually speak the books. I don't write them. I failed English. I suck at writing. Right. So for me, it takes me a while to learn stuff. Right? It takes me a while, but once I get it, I get it. Now, these 3 things are going to give you some ideas of what they look like, what they sound like. Judgment. You shouldn't do this. And the way judgment comes to us is through society. You should be more successful at this age of 35. You should have kids. You should have this. You should have a family. You should get married. The second one is from others, family and friends, the people that mean the most to us. Oh, you should be getting paid more for this. What does that do? It makes you feel insufficient that you're not getting fucking paid. It's not helpful. It's like, no shit, mum. No fucking shit. Right? Yeah. So should you. You know, and we'll get to the whole thing. And then the next one is judgment of self. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Now let's give me a thumbs up if you're a fucking human and you've ever had those thoughts. Maybe this isn't for me. Who's ever had that? We fucking thumbs up. We're human, right? It's all learning. So it's okay to feel that. Right now, the main thing is to go, you know, there's healthy levels of it, but then there's a lot of unhealthy stuff, especially in today's world. We're comparing to every other fucking person on Instagram that's faking their lifestyle. It's hard to keep up with that because it's fake. Right. So that's the judgment side. And the next thing is the guilt. Right. Guilt sounds like you did that. You did that bad thing. You know, society. If you do that, you know, it's bad, or you did that means it's bad. In regards to others, you did that, you're a bad person. You know, like you're I guess, who's ever been guilted before? Hands up. Who's ever been guilted on something they've done? All right, back to Michelle Cooney. I'm seeing some thumbs up here. Michelle Cooney. All right, one of the girls there, tell me something that you've been guilted for.
What are we talking about?
Give me something you've been guilted for.
Okay, so right, it can be something so simple, but it does make you feel so shit, right? Say
Correct.
you decide to wash someone's dishes for them, and they come to you and they go, "You didn't do this properly. Now I have to redo it." You just feel guilty. You're trying to do them a favor.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, it can be so small like this. And I want you guys to understand how these small things can be anchored into really triggering ourselves, which then make us feel shit. Because that person, I guarantee you, was from probably someone in the household that you're close with, right?
Yes.
Right. And we don't need to go into who it is, but the next level. So in regards to guilt, who's ever guilted so others? That's someone else, an example. Now, who's guilted themselves before? All right, thumb up or something. Who's guilted themselves? All right, so remember that. We can guilt ourselves. Now, if you think about our clients, think about how much they judge and guilt themselves. Think about in regards to training, nutrition, all these things. You know, they've got you to a degree to deal with their fucking guilt and judgment because they feel like they're not doing enough. Right? So in a way, we're enablers. We're allowing them to, you know, we're going there making them feel good about themselves. Now, at least they're doing something positive, because in regards to what you guys do for your job, you guys are actually doing something beneficial, where their other side of this is they could potentially be dabbling in drugs, dabbling in abusive behavior to their loved ones, dabbling in quitting their job or treating people like shit. At least they're working on something beneficial for themselves. So for you guys, in regards to getting paid for what you do, you're really, like, in a way, saving lives potentially. You're doing really, really good stuff for that person. So it's great that they're actually doing that with you guys. Now, the sliding scale is shame. Now, what shame looks like, if you had you shouldn't, you did, we have, you are. Society, and that is you are a fucking not successful. You are a piece of shit. That's basically how our brain internalizes that. I am fucking worthless. I'm not worth it. Maybe I'm not good enough. I don't look good enough. All this sort of stuff. That's shame. It's one of the heaviest human emotions that we hold on to. Now, I want to share some of the shames that I've had over my career that you won't see on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. If you talk to me, I can tell this to anyone, right? In regards to shame, when I was doing my challenges, I had one of my biggest tours coming up. I was fully invested, all the money I had, right? Now, all the money I had was invested in doing challenges. I had 9 challenges going, and I created new books and all that kind of stuff. I have these whole booklets for my challenges and all these fancy stuff. And so I was out of money, but I didn't feel broke because I was invested. Pick up the phone call. My parents call me up. How you doing, Dave? Oh yeah, I've got all this stuff going in, blah, blah, blah. And they always ask me, because they've got their own problems, how you going for money? Is everything good? Oh yeah, I'm all invested in there. I've fucking got these challenges. Like, I'm going to do like 60 grand this month in my programs and all this kind of stuff. I'm all in. Oh, so you're broke. You're broke. You got no money. Oh, you're going to have to come home from Sydney. And this is me at the height, like me rolling out at this thing. I'm like fucking killing it, but invested. All of a sudden, my parents go, "You fucking broke, man. You got to come home." Next minute, I'm getting calls from my dad. "You're broke. You got to come home. Do you need money?" All this kind of stuff. And I'm like, "Fuck, you guys have got no idea what I do." Right? But think about how toxic that is when those closest to you that you share your success with is then saying you're fucking broke. You need to come home. You need to like terminate your lease. All this shit, like fear stuff. Right? And then on top of that, where was I going with that? On top, lost what else happened. That was one thing. And then where I was going with that, next minute, I got a phone call that my best mate's dad died. Right. And this is someone that I idolized. This was like my second dad. And, you know, this is my mentor that helped me back at school. His dad died. Now I'm all in. Now I still had access to more money to do things. Right. But then because my parents' call before that was like, I'm broke, and that I felt so fucking shamed about my money situation instantly because my parents and their shit, that then when my best mate told me about that, I said, I can't make the funeral. Right. So my best mate, he needs me to be there. And I told him I can't make the funeral. And I'm feeling not only shamed about my money situation, I'm feeling shamed about the fact that I couldn't be there at his funeral to be there for my best mate. Now, for years later, until now recently, I still held on to that shame about not being able to make his funeral. Now, that happened to two of my mates a couple of months apart. Now, I held on to that, and I want to let you know, I haven't done a big challenge like I was doing for years now. And it wasn't due to the skill. What was it due to? Kiara? Paul? Unmute yourself.
Yep. Your mindset.
My own mindset and the own shame that I was holding on to that's got nothing to do with my professional side of things. You there? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can you see how that personally could affect me professionally?
I mean, it's a lot of weight to have in the back of your mind, something that's just going to be, you know, kind of clouding the rest of your thought, not letting you think clearly, focus on things that are actually super important to you.
And in my mind, the investment that I was doing into my business actually for me was how I was making so much money. Like, I didn't know any other trainer that was making 60 grand months, working fuck all, like realistically, when it comes down to it. I didn't know anyone doing this sort of stuff. And I thought I was winning, but then all of a sudden I went from winning, I'm great, rolling it, to then, oh my God, I'm broke. Can you see how that happened in my mind?
Mm.
It's a very subtle thing, but personally, when my own closest family, who I share this stuff with, then was like, you're broken, labels me like that. All of a sudden, my relationship to my business become, I'm fucking broke. I need to do something else. I need to do something different. Now, what an internal resistor to have to fucking your business. Thanks, Kira.
What was that? Sorry?
I said, thank you.
Oh, that's right.
Can everyone understand that, guys? It's quite a small thing. So that really, with my challenges, I still haven't even ran to this day. Now I'm doing a million different things in today's world. And last week I brought into a certification company for 3s, 4s, gel certs, first aid and all that kind of stuff. So I do different things, and we can talk more about in the Q&A, but I just want to give you an example of a personal thing where I felt shame around that. And so your homework from this today, I'm going to give you some steps. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready for some steps. I want you guys to write down every single bit of, and I call it, check this out, I call it a shame and shit list. Shame is like, I am unworthy, blah, blah, blah. But the shit part is any shit that you've been through from your childhood to now, to business, to personal, whatever it is, you just put on the shit list. You're like, don't even know what fucking feeling it was. It was like, I just feel shit. You know, it was like, I wish that didn't go on. Now, I work with people in all extremes with this, but I won't let you know, it's your shit doesn't matter. It's what happens within you when you go through that shit that matters. Does that make sense? It's really important, because a lot of times we build up our shit, go, well, my shit was worse than your shit, so I'm going to hold on to it. And it's like, fuck, I want to let you know that no matter what shit you've gone through, it has no right to define your life and your worth. Does that make sense? Regardless of what the fuck you've been through. Like, you know, this morning I was working with a client. I'm not going to name names and that, but she grew up in a Christian cult, right? Think about all the shit that happens in cults and stuff, right? And all this crazy stuff. It shouldn't define her life. And by the way, she's a thriving naturopath now and doing amazing stuff. But her experience has made her very empathetic to more scope in world. So in a way, her shit has become her power. And that's what I do with the Power Man superhero, is turn your pain into power. And that's being able to do this with yourself. So what you do, if you're shaming shit list, guys, you write it out, all the things. Now, then what you do next step 2, is you circle what are the symptoms of your shit and shame. So there's a lot of things that you've done which are really just not even the core root cause, but they're just more shit and shame. So you circle those things. You don't even need to worry about those things. They're just like, it's like having a shit boyfriend or girlfriend, a bad experience go on, and then you treated someone else like shit, or you dated another one, and you're like, well, really, that was just the side effect or a blow on from this one. That was just part of the train wreck. The second one, really, let's go back to where it happened, the relationship with my parents, which then created this, you could say, because a lot of stuff happens in childhood and stuff. Now, once you circle all the stuff with just symptoms, you don't have to spend any more energy in that. It's like, hey, that's just happened. It's reality. We're not perfect. Forgive that self, the 21 or 18-year-old or 8-year-old self, whatever it is. forgive them, give them some love, and go, hey, 8-year-old Dave, you're doing the best you fucking could with what you had at the time. You didn't have anything better. Like, for example, this is really weird, but when I was fucking 8 years old, I was outside working with my dad for my little toy wheelbarrow all day, having the best time, thinking I'm part of the group, you know, helping out, carrying dirt, shit like this. I come home and I go to take it inside. I brought it inside. I didn't even know there was dirt on it. My dad went crazy because there was dirt inside, grabbed my toy thing and smashed on the floor and locked me outside. Right? And I'm a little fucking 8-year-old kid banging on the door going, fucking, what happened? Like, my hero just fucking, you know, did this. And people call this trauma, and that's what it is. It's not what happened. It's the understanding disconnection with self, with not, you know, your especially your loved ones, your parents. There's no support, there's no comfort, there's no safe spot. I'll give you another example. A girl I was helping with the other day, 21-year-old, her family found Nutella in her room, so they got the Nutella jar, put it in the kitchen put it on the kitchen bench at 14 years old, and did a family intervention, judging her for her Nutella addiction, and made it out that she had a fucking problem like a drug addict. Right? No wonder she's carrying an extra 20 kilos now and doesn't feel safe in her home. And by the way, her dad's a fucking alcoholic. So I was like, imagine if you took all the beers out of the whole house, tipped it down a sink and filmed it. And then when the dad's looking for the beers, you send him a video, said, hey, I found your beers. And they're all tipped out. Imagine that. Anyway, I digress. So I just want to share some stuff with you so you guys know that I'm fucking human as well. We all go through different things, but I want you to realize it can be personal, it can be business, whatever. Shame and shit list. You write it out, circle the stuff that is really just another symptom. And that's where you can eliminate that stuff. You don't have to spend any more energy on it. And then you circle the shame and shit that's not even yours to fucking hold on to anymore. Nod your head if you get me with that. Right? A lot of it's from your parents, the stuff that they have not healed themselves. A lot of the stuff is they put pressure on you financially and money and job-wise because they never did something that they love with their job. They don't understand it. Yeah, they got pressures themselves. And that's where we need to have compassion for these things and realize what's not yours. So stop holding that stuff that's your parents' shit. Actually put it on. And every time they try and make little nibbles at you and stuff like that, actually don't listen to the words, but actually see them as wounded fucking people hurting inside and go, okay, mom, hey, thank you. You might be a ninja with conversation, change your conversation, give them a big hug, or not fight with them. Who here, put your thumb up if you've ever gotten a fight with someone because they've said something to you, like, fuck you! You know, it just becomes a shit fight. So I want you to understand that how instead of reacting to stuff, be aware of what's really happening beyond the words, because people say words, but they really mean something else. And, you know, it's kind of like your clients. You've seen a client, just for example, an extreme example, they got a broken arm, but they keep talking about their stubbed toe. Oh, it's my toe. It's my toe. You're like, no, your fucking arm's broken, mate. And they're like, no, it's my toe. And you're like, fuck. So anyway, once you've circled the stuff that's not even yours, give that back to the person that it happened, that come from. Your mom, your dad. Have compassion for the fact that they don't have access to stuff like this, the internet, books, things like that. Give it back to them. It's not yours to keep anymore. And take a big breath with that when you give it back. Now, the other stuff, which is, you know, happening within you from that whatever experience, that trauma, whatever, is I want you to actually forgive yourself at that age in a way, or at least, you know, in a way, give that person support. So internally, that 8-year-old boy that got his fucking thing and was didn't know what was going on, whatever, so hurt from that, from my father, is actually go, hey, that 8-year-old kid, he acted exactly with like the right way that he knew. He didn't know any other better. That 8-year-old kid doesn't have to hold on to anymore. It's really that my dad's stress and his inability to deal with his emotions. Right. So if you write yourself a little letter at the ages that this happened and just give him permission. Like Ethan, for example, the way you created this whole business, I guarantee you went through a lot of pain to create this whole thing. Like Ethan, unmute yourself.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Ethan, let's put the big man on camera. So Ethan, you created something beautiful here. We have such a team. Was there a time where you didn't have clients?
Yeah, mate, every day is a struggle.
All right. So
yes, there definitely was.
And mate, and you're fighting for everyone. So like, guys, everyone just fucking give this guy a bit of a fucking clap. This guy's fucking fighting for you, right? No, I just want to say this right now. That's where, when as a team, we can also help share that, because you know what I could imagine. Who's ever thought, if only Ethan got me more clients, you know, like, and it's like, fuck, in your attitude right now, you can't fucking get any more clients because you're going to burn them all. Right? Like, you get me? So Ethan, yeah, keep it off mute. So it's a two-way street. Now, everyone, I want you to understand, Ethan's human as well. So at least, you know, the cool thing is this whole model has come out of, so obviously some kind of past challenge you've had, and you're like, hey, if only trainers could have that support, that team. And you guys, look at how many people you are. You guys all have people to bounce off. And, you know, that there is power. You know, there's been times where I've paid 50 grand a year just to have a group like this, right? Just to have connection, because sometimes you can feel like you're going at it alone, you know? So thanks for that, Ethan. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing your struggles.
No worries.
And so, so guys, what you do, again, just to recap that, circle what is a symptom, get rid of that, don't even give you more energy. Second thing, circle what's not even yours, let go of that, give it back to the person and just go, hey, I'm no longer holding on to that. The next thing is to, when it's your own stuff, is actually write yourself a letter, or actually be aware, feel the emotions. By the way, you'll most likely fucking cry or whatever when you do this sort of stuff and the shit you've been holding on to. There's been so many times where I've cried, break down, things like that, without actually feeling into it. I've kept trying to do the hard yards, and then you go, why me, blah, blah, blah. Actually feel into it and actually go, what's the lesson in this? What does this teach to me? And guys, that process, I'm going to give you a book. It's called Awareness by Author Dave. We're going to go Megan Kane. Megan Kane, unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Megan, what's the book called?
Awareness.
By Author Dave.
Yeah.
So I just wanted you guys to participate in that. So remember that book. Phenomenal book. Thanks, Megan. A phenomenal book in understanding the inner game so you can show up better externally, right? It all starts within here. And then when you're rocking it, you can hit out the leads and all that kind of stuff that Ethan shoots your way and all that. And also every single client that you show up with, they're thinking, fuck, you're an amazing trainer. If only my friends had you in a corner. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a thumbs up. All right. So now we're going to go to, so that process, the book, read more on it. I'm an open book. Anytime you guys ever want to reach out or text or whatever more, I love this stuff. I would love to go now to a Q&A. And guys, what we just went through, sometimes it might not sink in. We need to create a bit of awareness. Might need to dwell on it a little bit. We need to go the process, whatever, give ourselves space. I can't stress the importance. And I've done a lot of external stuff, but this internal stuff is what's going to have you really release the handbrake so you can really head it out of the park. And it creates a bigger shift in yourself. And I've got heaps of resources for you guys to learn more on, so you can get connected with your clients. You can turn up and hold space for them, because it's your ability to hold space which actually allows you to have a career in the industry. Because most people burn out, they can't hold space, they get full up, they fizzle out, too much stress, too much resistance, not enough success, all this stuff's a byproduct, and then they go get a fucking job and give up on their dream. And I hate that. Righto. So Q&A. I would love to hear from you guys. So I'm not sure how to do a Q&A on here. Maybe you just put your hand up if you got a question, and I'll unmute you and just go one by one. Hold the hand up until we come to you, because I want to answer every question. All right, Maxie, you're up first. Max Hutchinson.
What do you mean by holding space?
Holding space. So when you turn up to a client, holding space for someone means trying not to fix their situation, but actually listening to what they got to say.
Right.
So when you turn up to someone, a lot of times as trainers, we try and fix them. We try and give them solutions. And then they keep talking over your solution. They go, blah, 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 blah. So being able to listen and hold space and actually ask them, tell me more about this. Tell me more about that. And to be honest, you might not have the answer, but the more you know about the situation, the more you can actually make up your mind or what maybe how you can help them. So sometimes with a client, when you start a session, maybe you do need 5 minutes to actually allow them to decompress verbally to you before they can actually get the best out of them training wise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
But as a trainer, if you just go in there and go, right, today I'm Sergeant fucking Trainer, I'm gonna train your ass off. You're gonna do what I say. The program says this. They're fucking just like, and they're going, fuck Max, I can't make this session next week. I fucking feel more stressed out than I could.
I see. Thanks.
All right, well, guess what? Your homework is.
Sorry, what are they? What was that again, Dave? Can you do that for us one more time?
Oh, I forget what I just did. What is it like? No, fucking fuck you,
Sorry,
Max. I'm not turning up to your session, right? So, Max, your homework is I want you to Google holding space. There's heaps of YouTube stuff, and understand that better. Cool. Awesome, bro. All right, who's got another question? Hands up. Questions? Put your finger up like this. All right, I'm looking on the next one. Who's got one? Any questions?
I've actually got one for you, Dave. You know
okay,
that
Ethan, good.
You know that text message service that you ran ages ago? I remember seeing it. Did that get much traction?
The Power Pep?
Yeah.
Had 1,000 people on it.
That was awesome. It was very cool.
So this is all strategy. So guys, I created a few online business. I've done a few online businesses, different things like that. And what I realized is when I went online, is I wanted people thinking about me. I'm not the answer for everyone, but those within my circle, you don't have to be you don't have to be the biggest star. It's about your inner circle, your 100 clients, your 40 clients, your 20 clients, whatever it is. You want to be the go-to person for those people. I call it the micro celebrity. You don't need to be the fucking Brad Pitt of the world in training wise. You just need to be the Brad Pitt of where I come from, Yanko, 500 people, right? I'm the closest trainer, so it's if you think about it, to be that micro celebrity is like, if anything, be the one who actually cares about the people around you, because they're going to come to you because their celebrity doesn't answer the DMs. Does that make sense? So you only need to be a micro, but check this out, micro leads to macro. 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4. You start to grow that. That's how you grow. That's how I come from a small town of 500 people. And then I've got to a worldwide level with doing my stuff. Now that sounds better than it is. It all still comes to being able to show up, regardless if there's one person or 1,000 people in the session. You still show up your best. Does that make sense? So Ethan, that text was really a pre-warming strategy. So when I release my programs, who's the go-to person? I'm the one that pops up in their mind. Does that make sense? Ethan, you're on the call now.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's kind of like the mere exposure effect for a personal brand rather than a company.
Exactly. Now, imagine if I sat there and goes, guess what? I'm not doing anything for free until they fucking pay me. Good luck in your fucking back cave. No one's going to find you, right? So it's like, in regards to that Facebook group as well, I would go out, I'd eat at cafes and restaurants of people that I know are my ideal client, these business people. I shine a light on them. They're not interested in some young fucking trainer. Like for them, like it's all about them. So I just shine a light on them. But once I give interest to them, what do they do in return? The law of reciprocity. They'd be interested in you. Oh, Dave's your name, is it? You got that gym down there? Oh yeah, I was thinking about it that time. And then for me, I'm like, oh yeah, well, guess what? We've got a special class on tonight. It's actually a starter class. Hey, it's on me. This one's on me. Come down, starter class, perfect for first timers. Guess what class is my starter class, guys?
All of them.
Every fucking class, right? Every one of them. I don't need to tell them that fucking one class, whatever. The goal is to get them in the door. You tell them what they need to hear to get rid of their ego and their insecurities, to give them what they need. And when you have good intentions, you can operate like that. All right. So there's some good strategies there, different things like that. Fingers up. Who else has another question? I can only see one page. So who's got another question? Fingers up.
We'll probably just have time for one last one, guys, and then we'll call it there. Does anyone have one last one? Sharon, you're looking antsy. Yeah.
Oh, Jamal and Sharon. Yeah.
No,
Sharon,
I don't really have a question. I was just going to refer to what you were saying in regards to space. And I think, you know, sorry, I can't remember the gentleman's name that asked the question. Was it Max or?
Actually, yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes some clients don't really talk very much. So when you turn up, you might get a bit of a nothing. Like I've had that, and I'm so upbeat, ready to rock, and they're just like, yep. And you're like, shit, here we go. So for me, I just go, oh, so how are we feeling out of 10 today? You know, and they're like, oh, a bit of a 2, because that's as much as they want to say. And you go, oh, okay, well, let's change that today and, you know, enjoy this session, or maybe start the conversation from there. Okay, while we're warming up, tell me, why is it a 2? What's happened this week with you? And get them to, you know, just a little bit start to, you know, release and, I don't know, maybe warm to you. Some people don't like kind of telling you stuff, but even if it's a little bit and saying, oh, just work related, and you think, oh, okay, well, no one's died, so that's good. It's a work issue or something like that. And you can kind of, you know, say, you know, I hear you. I know sometimes, you know, work can be hard, or and not solve the problem, but just go, you know, yeah, that's fair enough. I understand. Or yeah, it can be tough sometimes, or yeah, just listening, you know, but just sort of replying back with compassion, I guess.
Yes, I love that word, that compassion. And the good thing is when someone says that to me and they don't open up, I like to then say, well, hey, Sharon, I really appreciate you making time in your day for me today. I'm going to make sure we work at this level, warm up to this, and we'll see what we can get out of today. So it's like releasing expectation that they got to like go to 100 or hero. So guys, what you just saw there is Sharon's expertise. Sharon, how long have you been doing PT for?
6 months.
6 months? And what's your background experience?
Childcare and beauty therapist, PA.
So you've done a lot of work. We've had to deal with people and all this sort of stuff. So I love that. And you guys have a lot of these answers amongst yourself. So I'm not sure if you guys have a Facebook group, but do you guys have a Facebook group as trainers and that, or something like that? Ethan, do you guys have something like that?
We've kind of got like our own internal Facebook group. It's called Workplace, but yeah. Yeah,
cool. And that's something where it's like, you know, hey, like, let's actually utilize that and learn from one another, you know, like you guys have created a good thing here. So guys, no more questions, unless was there one more question, Ethan?
I'm not sure. I think that was it, but that's probably all we have time for anyway. So I think we might have, to call it there.
Ethan, ready? 30 seconds. I want you guys, everyone, to actually write in the comment section. I'll be able to read them, the chat. I want you guys to actually write, what did you get out of today's session? What did you learn? What aha moments? What did you think about? You know, even things you don't know or confused about, whatever. I want you to write all that in the comments section. Give me some feedback. That means you participated. It means you learned something. It means you listened. I would love to put that in the comment section. I'll read it after I jump off, or I can just sit here and read it through as well. And yeah, Ethan, you wrap it up, brother. And I appreciate you guys getting me on here, and I appreciate you guys. And I love this. Don't make other people shit your shit. A lot of times we hold on, and when you turn up to that session where they're not feeling it, sometimes you just got to hold space and be quiet and build them up gradually.
I'm just going to put it out. That fly analogy killed me. That's coming with me to the grave. That fly analogy banging against the wall.
We can release it. Release it. We're gonna do some cool stuff, and I look forward to catch up with you in person. So turning pain into power, guys. That's what driven me. Like it's powerful.
Guys, with this, Sorry, Dave. I'll chuck this up in the workplace as well. And if you guys want to throw some feedback there, I'll pass it on to Dave. And the recording will be up there as well. Cool.
I love that. And don't forget the first day feeling. That's the thing I just saw come up there. So I want you guys to remember that. How do we tap in that first day feeling? Give that client our best. Hold space to make sure that we're not vibing at a fucking high level up here when they're at a 1, and come underneath them and lift them up to where you are. And when you do that, that's where you get paid. You guys are like the transformational trainers, you know, they love you, they refer you, they rave about you, they hype about you. So guys,
let's give Dave a round. Sorry, man.
Thank you guys. I'll shut up. You guys get out there and enjoy your day.
I'm trying to give you a round of applause. Everyone give Dave a round of applause. Say thank you.
Oh, they're all on mute, so I just see the head.
Yeah,
Thank you,
we'll
guys.
take the heads. Thanks, Dave.